Did you know that sourdough is as old or maybe even older than the ancient Egyptians? Sourdough is delicious and it's easy to make at home, and in this video, we will show you how to make it. Start by making the starter. This is what separates sourdough from ordinary bread and gives it its signature sour flavor. First, add 2 cups of warm water to a large mixing bowl. Next, add 2 1/4 teaspoons of active dry yeast to the water. This should be about 1 packet. Next, add in 3 1/2 cups of flour. After that, add in 2 tablespoons of sugar. Mix it all together until you get it to a doughy consistency, as shown in the video. Finally, cover up the bowl and let it sit for 5 days. Fun fact, sourdough starter can actually survive forever without going bad if you keep feeding it. The oldest sourdough starter that's still alive is over 4,500 years old. Now we are going to be making the dough. First, start off with 2 teaspoons of salt. Next, add 3 1/2 cups of flour. It seems like way too much flour, but it is actually a really good amount. After adding the flour, add 1 cup of the starter that we made earlier. Next, add a cup and a half of water and then start mixing with the wooden spoon. Mix until it is thoroughly mixed. When you are done, the dough should take on a doughy texture and should not be liquid anymore. Once you are done mixing with the spoon, knead the dough by hand. For best results, you may need to knead the dough for up to 10 minutes or more. Kneading will add air into the dough that will create gas pockets that cause the bread to rise. The more you knead the dough, the more air will be added, and the higher the bread will rise.
All bread uses yeast. Yeast uses glucose to make ethanol and CO2. CO2 is a gas, obviously, and therefore takes up more volume than solids or liquids. And this is important for the bread making process because it will make the bread rise. The reason that sourdough is different than other bread is because the starter for sourdough contains a bacteria, usually of the lactobacillus genus, that will make lactic acid, which gives the bread its sour flavor. These bacteria use glucose, ADP, and an inorganic phosphate group to form lactate, ethanol, CO2, and ATP. And the lactic acid that is formed from the lactate will give the bread its sour flavor.
Comes out just like that.
Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you really enjoy our bread. Now, please stay tuned after the credits for some post-credit scenes.
Seth, what breed is your dog?
Cockapoo.
Okay.
Like cockroach, spaniel, poodle.
He said poo.
That's a cat.
3.
That's in the video? Neater? I hardly know her.
I want to guesstimate. You remember?
Recording?
Yeah. Okay, so we just need like 3 times that. I think that's probably good.
That's so much? What the hell?
You're still recording this?
Yeah.
I mean, no look. That's probably like 2 teaspoons. I'd think so.
That's so much. You just punched the bread.
Sorry. After 8 minutes of kneading, you get a little emotional. Man, nothing gets me going like working with dough on Friday morning.
What?